Absolutely. Because I really wasn't that type of person before this. I was more reserved. I kind of stuck with my my friend group. I didn't really branch out that much. But obviously this life like forces you to, because
Yeah.
if you don't, you're just gonna be alone and that's not fun. So I'm thankful for this life for allowing me to grow as a person in that sense, being more outgoing and putting myself out there
Hmm.
more freely. And also like then this is funny because my son says this because his teacher says it to them all the time, but like you can do hard things. And like that's like my motto for like my like internal like monologue all the time is like I can do hard things. Like I can survive these trades. I can survive these long road trips by myself. Like I can do it because if I don't, then it's not going to get done. I'm kind of like the only person who can do it.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of like another like motto, especially for girls with families and you're going through this, like you can do hard things. You can do it and like you will do it and you will figure it out. It always works out. It's just getting there is a little tricky.
You're listening to Breaking the Ice podcast, a podcast that I created in 2020 to connect women within the hockey world. My name's Devin Dodaro, my husband's Charlie Dodaro, and we've played literally all over the world. We have 2 kids, 2 dogs, and let's just say hockey has taken my world by storm. What I've learned is that this community and these experiences are very specific, and you should not have to go through this alone. Through this podcast, I share the tools, resources, do's, don'ts, and what's helped me along the way while continuing to learn from each and every one of you. So lace them up and tune in for episodes twice a month. And make sure to follow the page on Instagram at Breaking the Ice Pod. Welcome back to the podcast. Happy you're here for another episode. I have to apologize in advance for this intro. I have had what I think is allergies. I don't know if anybody else is feeling that this time of year. I sound kind of nasally. I feel like I wake up fine and then midday or mid-morning all of a sudden I start to get like just kind of like congested, or I don't know, like my ears feel full. So if I sound a little nasally, that is why. If you are in this hockey world, you are either entering playoffs or you are entering your off season. So either way, congratulations, you made it this far. My husband leaves for a road trip this week. It's a quick one. It is the first round of playoffs. We do not have home ice advantage, but they have 5 games in 6 nights, which is I have no further comments at this time with this schedule and how this is allowed, but here we are. So I am like in the process of trying to try to organize that for myself so I'm not in the overwhelm mode. Like obviously if you are in the hockey world, you know how playoffs roll, and it's like our season could literally be done in a week and a half, followed by a week of festivities, or we could be moving on to the second round of playoffs. So you're just kind of sitting in that limbo, not really knowing what's going to happen, kind of difficult to schedule things at the moment. But obviously we're hoping for the best. It's a little bittersweet. It's kind of sad the season's ending, but you also look forward to the off season. So I feel like we're all in that same boat. Today on Breaking the Ice, I have Carley Carrick joining me. Carley's husband is Sam Carrick. He just got traded to the Buffalo Sabres from the New York Rangers. And you better believe that we got into all things trades, call-ups, send-downs. This is your girl. She's amazing. She's an open book. Obviously my favorite kind of guest that just can have a seamless flowing conversation, and she shares all the things with me. We talk about kids in this lifestyle, how it affects her, what motivates her to keep going and stay strong when, you know, your foundation is a little bit rocky and you don't always know where you're going to go, where you're going to be. And Carley and I have chatted for a long time. Like I'm pretty sure since I started this podcast, just off and on. So I love when I have a girl on the podcast that I've done that with, because it's nice to just kind of chat with them in real time, and it just felt like I was like catching up with an old girlfriend. And if you've been with me since the beginning, you remember I used to do these travel Tuesdays where someone on every team would take over for a Tuesday and just like show us where they live. And so Carly did that when they were playing in San Diego and loved every minute of it because I'm obviously from San Diego. But all around, such a gem of a human. You guys are going to love this episode. If you're listening today, share where you're listening from. Give Carly some love, give the podcast some love. And if you're in playoffs, good luck. If you're in your off season, enjoy. And I will be here obviously through the summer, continuing on with episodes. And I can't wait for the episodes that are going to be coming your way shortly. So enjoy. Good. I was just thinking, I'm pleasantly surprised how easy that was for us to schedule.
The timing worked out great for me to be home. But yeah, so I'm in Canada, so it actually worked out well that I could be home to do this. So like I have legit childcare that's not gonna cancel on me last minute.
Don't even get me started. Do not get me started on the
I know.
child. Oh my gosh.
I know.
So wait a second. Where are you from? Toronto?
Yes, just north of Toronto.
By the way, we have like so much ground to cover.
I know.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna give you my like quick spiel, and then we're just gonna start talking because I just knew this was how this is gonna be. Yeah, you're one of those people. Obviously, we've followed each other since the beginning, since I started this page.
Yep.
So I kind of feel like I know you already. Just you know what I mean? Like it's just like we're gonna get on this call and just start like chit-chatting. So
perfect.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be on this. Finally, I feel like it's been a long time coming.
I know. I think we like talked about this maybe 4 years ago about doing this, and then just life. And then now here we are. So I'm proud of us.
Me too. Me too.
5 kids. We made it work. And
right?
Seamlessly in a trade. And we're going to get into all of that.
Perfect.
Anyways, so we were just talking about how, you're in Canada right now. You're from Toronto.
Yes.
Your husband just got traded. Okay. So, and usually like you've listened to the podcast before and I've been like, give me a little backstory on your hockey life. And I'm like, you know what, Carly, I don't know if we have the time.
I know.
Because I was looking at your husband's elite prospects and the amount of movement.
I know.
Do you know how many trades and call-ups and send-downs total you're at?
So this would be our 3rd trade. One happened in like the 2016, 2017. I think that was the year. But it was just like more of like an AHL trade. That was one we actually weren't expecting at all. It actually happened after the deadline. The deadline had passed and it was like an hour after. He got a call from the GM. He answered and he was like, oh, I just got traded. I was like, what does that mean? Like we were pretty new to like the whole pro hockey thing at that point. And he had gotten traded from Rockford, which was Chicago's farm team, to San Diego, which was a pretty sick trade considering that we got to go live in San Diego. So we had that one. And then 2 years ago, we got traded from Anaheim to Edmonton at the deadline. And then just recently we got traded from the Rangers to the Sabres.
I'm sorry.
No. My dog's downstairs. I'm hoping she doesn't bark.
Usually he's pretty good, but like sometimes when the whole crew isn't here, he gets like testy with cars and stuff. Like,
yes, that's my dog. Every little noise, she's like, I'm like, okay, you're fine. You're fine.
And then they trigger you and you're like,
yes.
So yeah, I remember because you did that Travel Tuesday back when I was doing.
Yes, I did. That's right.
And you did San Diego. That is a pretty like amazing place to be for the amount of time that you were between Anaheim and San Diego.
Yes, that was amazing. And that is really when our call up and down journey started. Sam played in Toronto and he started getting called up a little bit when he was with the Marlies, but it's in the same city. So it didn't really seem like it was that big of a deal to be called up, sent down, whatever. But then when we got traded to or when we were in San Diego and Anaheim, it was a little bit harder. They're still only like an hour and a half, 2 hours, like up the interstate from each other. But because the NHL schedule is so crazy, all the travel, it seemed a lot more difficult when the call-ups were starting to happen. So exciting and great opportunities, but it was just, we're always on edge.
Right. And did you guys have any kids when you guys were in Southern California?
Yes. So we had our first son, Liam, 19. And that was a year that there was a lot of up and down. mostly down in San Diego, but we started the year in Anaheim, like during training camp, so I had to get a doctor and stuff up there, and then we'd be down, and then we'd be up for a certain amount of time. So I kind of was bouncing around doctors, which was
Yeah.
tricky. Yeah, and then but when the end of the season came, we had him in April, and the Ducks weren't making playoffs that year, so he was down with San Diego. So we were set on giving birth in San Diego and all that, and then we had our second baby in 2022, and we were also still in San Diego. But that year was very tricky because we started in Anaheim, made it all the way through camp. I got a doctor, and then he got sent down right before the season started. So we packed up, got a house right away because we had been living in a hotel for a month and a half. And that was so tricky with how old was Liam? A 2-year-old.
You're so nice with like tricky. I love that word. That's like the nice way to put like
It was awful.
exactly. Yeah.
He's
Not
like,
an ideal situation.
no, not ideal. And he was also Liam was going through like a sleep regression thing. And so I had to sleep on the floor beside his pack and play, like being like 4 months pregnant. It was just like an awful time. So when we got sent down, we got a house right away. Sam played, I think, 2 games in San Diego, got called back up, and never got sent back down. So we
Wow.
had a house in San Diego, but they were going through some changes in management, and it was a bit of a messy year with the Ducks. And so him getting a housing letter for the NHL was kind of on the back burner for them. So we went from September to January with Sam being back and forth. So we barely saw him. If we wanted to, we'd make the drive, go see him, go to a game, whatever, and then kind of go back to San Diego where we had a house. That was tricky. It also made me feel like removed from the team because the girls would want to do things. And I'm like, well, I live 2 hours away, so I can't really like hop up there for dinner. And like, but then I wasn't part of the San Diego team either. So I was kind of just like by
Mhm.
myself, which was okay. It didn't last very long. And then finally, I think it was December 28th or something. I had just gotten over COVID. This was when COVID went, it was like, it went through the whole team. I got it. I was pregnant. We were trying to find a house in Anaheim because he finally got a housing letter. So I was FaceTiming with our realtor, being like, yeah, that house looks fine. Like, I don't even care at this point. Just like, let's just get a house. So then finally, right before New Year's, we were able to make the move up, and then we stayed there for the next 2 years, year and a half, 2 years. Yeah.
Okay. So what is a housing letter?
So it's basically like permission to like move there permanently, I guess you could say. Like because otherwise they pay for you to stay in a hotel. And if you get a house before you get a housing letter, like you can, but if you get sent down, then there's no guarantee that they'll help you get out of your lease or help pay for your rent if you have to live in 2 places, because there's a clause where you can't pay for 2 places. So if you give a housing letter and they decide to send you down, they still have to pay. They have to pay up to a certain amount for one of your rents, depending on what they choose. But if you so that's why you wait to get a housing letter, so you don't get stuck paying for 2 places.
Okay, that makes sense. And that kind of gives you like the security, like, okay,
Yes.
you are going to stay here for the rest of the
Yes.
or that's
Yes.
our intention.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, and that's a lot of movement, and I can see how that would be like so hard also to
Yeah.
just feel like, okay, I don't really have a community here, and I
Yeah.
don't really have a community here,
Yeah.
just kind of floating, even though I'm sure everybody was super friendly, but still,
Of
like
course. Yes.
you want to have that support, especially when you have young kids and
Yeah.
you're pregnant at the time, right?
I was pregnant, so I gave birth beginning of February. So I was 8 months pregnant, making the move, and then trying to find a doctor again because the doctor I'd started with, it wasn't really meshing well. So to try and find a new doctor, it's really hard to find a new doctor when you're 8 months pregnant. They don't necessarily want to take you on because you're so far along. They don't know your history and all that. So I ended up finding a really, really amazing doctor, and it ended up being fine. But before we got the housing letter, I was telling Sam, I'm sorry to do this to you, but you need to push for a housing letter because I can't be giving birth in San Diego and you not being here.
Right. Like it's not an option.
No. So
Yeah.
like we need to figure this out. You just talk to your coach or talk to your GM and just say like, hey, my wife is a month away from giving birth. Like, what are you doing with me? And luckily he didn't have to have that conversation. They ended up giving him the housing letter before that. So it all worked out.
So your husband has a brother that's also a pro hockey player, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
his wife, did they played with you guys in San Diego, didn't
Yeah.
they? Okay.
Yes. So during that, they were actually in San Diego also. He was playing for the Gulls. And so she was there with me, which was amazing. And we're super close. So we would be hanging out all the time. And it was nice because if I had an event with Anaheim, she would watch Liam for me in San Diego. I could do the drive and then come back. Because it was still kind of COVID-y, finding a babysitter wasn't really an option. And like I wasn't very comfortable with like leaving my son and then driving 2 hours away and being
Right.
gone. So it was really nice to have them there for that support. And we also, the year before that, when it was like the strict COVID, when you couldn't do anything, we played together then as well. And we lived together. We had a house together. It was so fun. They got
That's
to like be there for Liam when he was like one turning two, which was like such a fun age. So that was really a really cool experience that we got to have with them.
yeah. And all right, so he's still playing.
Yes, yeah, he plays in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay. Okay. That's so fun. And that's nice that you guys have like that to connect about too.
Yes,
Just like the
definitely.
crazy, the crazy lifestyle of it all and all
Absolutely.
of
Yes.
those. Okay, I'm trying to decide if I want to start with like the call. Well, obviously we went over the call ups and send downs a little bit, but I know it's probably hard for you to like go back to even our short stint of like the call ups and send downs. Like
Hmm.
for us, it's hard to take myself back there because I'm like, I just feel like I've lived so many lives since then and
Yep.
things have changed so much. During that time, like how with a young kid, it's like you have one kid, you're pregnant, you're in this kind of limbo, uncertainty. Are you someone that lives in the future? Do you live in the present? Are you
Mhm.
like spiraling about what this is going to look for like
Yeah.
long term of your life? Like how where was your headspace at going through all this?
It definitely changed throughout. I would say I've always been someone who really stresses about the future and what's this gonna look like and how to plan for it. But being in this life specifically and with the call ups, send downs, whatever, it really made me have to live in the moment and just kind of take it day by day. Um, and not plan too far ahead because we'd make plans and then they'd just be out the window because he wasn't home or whatever. So I think I definitely have learned to just kind of go with the flow more, um, and just kind of take things as they come and not try and stress because it's out of my control, it's out of his control, and I kind of think that I've picked that up throughout.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Because you can, I mean, you can make yourself sick trying to anticipate every single thing
totally.
that's going to happen.
Yeah, well, we'd have people be like, "Oh, can we come visit this week?" And I'm like, "Sure, but there's no guarantee that he will be here." So
Right.
if you're good with just seeing me, then yeah, sure, come. But like, there's really no guarantee that he'll be here or there or
Hmm.
so. Maybe a couple times we had more so family had trips planned, and then Sam B called up, which was amazing. Then they actually go where he was instead, like meet him
Okay.
on the road and see games, or so it all ended up working out. But yeah, you had to kind of have that flexibility.
Yeah. Yeah. Which can be disappointing for you too when you're thinking people are gonna come and help
Yeah,
you and it's like okay, reroute like
reroute.
all these things and
Hmm.
now you're going over here, now you're going over here. So you
Yep,
guys also just got traded literally like was it how
3 weeks ago.
3
Three
weeks
weeks ago.
ago from
Hmm.
New York to Buffalo. Was this something that you were expecting?
Yes and no. The team wasn't doing great. The Rangers weren't doing great. They had released a statement saying that they were going to retool. Not really saying how, but Sam's one of those players who is easily tradable. So it's kind of always on our radar. It wasn't so much on our radar this time because he still has another year left on his contract. We didn't really think it was going to happen. But then a couple days before he got traded, his GM kind of pulled him aside and said, "Hey, I've been getting some calls about you. Just kind of want to give you a heads up that you'll probably be going somewhere." And then I remember Sam texted me that right at the beginning of his practice. It was like 9 a.m. I just got back from doing school drop off. My mom was there, thankfully. I got the text message and I was like, what? What does this even mean? And then he was like, didn't answer me for 3 hours because he was like doing practice. And I was like, oh my God, you can't just drop that bomb on me. And then the next day he was sat for like trade related reasons, not playing. And then the next day, and then during the game, he got the call and was traded. And like just from like having the times of being like called up, called down, like whenever you see the GM calling you, your stomach just automatically like flip flop sinks. Like exciting or not. So like seeing that again, I'm like, oh my God, it's like PTSD from like back in the day when you'd be getting calls from the GM before about call-ups and send-downs, and then so yeah, he took the call and it was Buffalo. We didn't know, so we had a feeling obviously he was going to get traded, but we had no idea where. Like, the GM didn't give us any idea of where. So it was a shock definitely to be traded and to be traded to Buffalo, but like honestly, best case scenario for us. It's so close to home. It's only a 2-hour drive from home.
Oh, that's
And like the team is doing so well that it's like so exciting
yeah.
to be there. So like it's really great.
Yeah, I was gonna ask with the trade. I feel like I have so many questions on. I'm like trying to keep my
Mhm.
my thoughts. I have a little note thing, so I'm like want to make sure I cover this ground. So when you get traded, you actually have like no idea where. Like this is done like behind the scenes, and then they
Mhm.
just tell you this is where you're going. Like you don't have a say in
Yeah.
it.
For us, we don't have a say in it. There are some players who have like a list of teams that they can't go to unless they approve it. But that's not the case for us. It's just kind of like, this is where you're going, and that's that.
Okay. And then with the whole trade process, it's no longer just like the two of you anymore. You
Hmm.
guys have three kids.
Yep.
Just mentioned your boys are in school. Like you have your
Yep.
life there. You guys were there last season. So like you're pretty like comfortable,
Yes.
you would say.
Very. Yeah.
Where does your mind go in those situations? Like, do you freak out? Are you like upset? Are you like, all right, let's just do it? Like walk me through
Yeah.
that process because I'm sure there's a little bit of like grief too that comes with that.
Absolutely. Yes. And I feel like I'm still in the grieving process. The day before he was traded, before we went to do school pickup, we stopped at Starbucks and we were just kind of just chatting about the possibilities and like what that's going to look like. And obviously we didn't know where we were going to go at that point, but we were just trying to make a somewhat of a plan, whether that looked like, do we go right away? Do we stay, like as in me and the kids? Do we go home? Like what does this all kind of look like? And it just got so overwhelming. I think we were at Starbucks for like half an hour and I think I cried like 5 times.
Oh,
Just like sitting there, just like being like so overwhelmed with all of the moving parts and emotions. I'm like, you're gonna leave and we're not gonna, I don't even know when we're gonna see you again. Like, and the
mhm.
kids, and now that my oldest is 7, he's very sensitive to road trips, time away from his dad. Like it really is really starting to affect him. And so I just like felt like just so sad at that time. And he plays hockey there. He's in first grade. He has such a good community of friends there, me as well, like outside of, not even like with the hockey group, like that's another whole other story, but outside of hockey, like, we have such a great community there through hockey, through school, that I was like, oh my God, like I wasn't ready to leave. I
When
knew that yeah, I wasn't like, next season is his last season or the last year on his contract. So I knew that it would be coming to an end, but I didn't think it would come to an end this soon. And I really wasn't prepared because last season, I was pregnant. It was a bit of a rough start to the pregnancy. I was so sick. I couldn't do anything. Like, we moved into a new house that was empty. It took a long time to feel settled, and I was just starting to like love living there. I was going to the gym. I had such a good routine. The kids were in so many activities. I was just like, I don't want to start over. Like, I just started over. I don't want to do it again. So that was all like going through my mind. And then once he actually got traded and we knew where,
Mhm.
things were a little bit easier because then we can start to make a plan, sort of. We still don't even really have a concrete
Yeah.
plan, but yeah, it's just like so many things. And then he got traded at like, I think it was like 8:30 p.m. And then he got a call from Buffalo. They were playing a game, so that he didn't hear from them until like 11 p.m. And they're like, "Hey, well, can you get on a 8:30 a.m. flight tomorrow?" And he's like, "Yeah, no problem." And then he hung up, and I was like, "No, you can't." You don't have even have your hockey equipment. I don't even know if your equipment's in the city or if it's at the practice rink. Like, the airports are kind of crazy right now. Like, you have to be there so early. Like, you can't get on an 8:30 flight. You like, it's actually like timing wise, it's impossible. So you had to call back and
Mhm.
be like, actually, I can't. And then he kind of negotiated that he would drive. So he drove from
Okay.
where we lived in New York to Buffalo, which was like 6-hour drive. And it actually worked out a lot better. He could take more stuff with him, and he has his car. So it ended up being fine. And he actually got there this at the same time as he would have if he took a later flight. So it ended up being fine. But it's just like he's just gone. I'm like, okay, well, I'll deal with the rest.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what a whirlwind. And that's, I don't think people outside of the lifestyle realize how
Hmm.
quickly things have to progress.
Happen. Yep.
Not necessarily always for the family, but for the player. Like
Player.
you said, it's a lot of times like the next day. And
Yes.
that's happened from us to Europe. People have called and they're like,
Right.
"Can we be on the plane the next morning?" And I'm like, absolutely fucking not.
Not. No.
No way. I'm like, no.
No.
But yeah, so he has to leave, and then you have three kids. You're at your home. Your kids are in. It's not like you can just snap your finger, pull your kids out of school, out of
No.
their. You've paid for this stuff, you know, and
Right.
so
Yes.
that's a lot of like mental load on you,
Yeah.
which
Hmm.
again, I feel like gets very discredited and things that people just don't think about if you're not in the
Totally.
lifestyle of how much
Absolutely.
life has to take on for this to happen, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, I have seen the brand Violent Gentleman around the rink for years, which I'm sure if you live at a rink like we do, you have seen this brand before too. And I finally got influenced. I went on their website. I immediately ended up ordering a ton of stuff for my son. And of course, I was like, okay, I got to get a few things for my husband too. But what I actually love about them and what finally made me pull the trigger is the meaning behind it. The brand was built around hockey culture, the balance of how intense the game is, but also the respect that comes with it. And I feel like if you're in this world, you just get that right away. The pieces themselves are just easy. Tees, hoodies, hats, like nothing overdone and stuff that just looks good and people actually wear day to day. They just launched a kids collection and oh my gosh, it is so cute. I cannot wait to throw my son in some of this stuff for playoffs. And also, some of the pieces in the kids collection, they have in adult sizes too. So if you love a little matching moment like I do, you can order some stuff for your husband and your child that matches that they can wear together to the rink. They also have a women's line coming, which I'm super excited about, and we all love a little retail therapy during the hockey season, so let's go. If you want to check it out, you can use the code BREAKING20 for 20% off your order at violentgentleman.com. That's BREAKING20 at checkout for 20% off your order. Setting aside like the emotional part of it, but logistically, like how did you get everything ready alone with three kids to go down to Buffalo with him?
So we aren't there yet.
Okay.
We are going to, we made the decision to, we're going to try and go back and forth. We, as me, the kids and I. Sam will stay there, obviously, and just be there with the team. I didn't want to move our oldest schools this late in the year. And also, we couldn't just leave because we don't have a house there. We don't have a place. We have three kids. We have a big dog. We can't just live in a hotel. We just did that we were visiting Sam in Buffalo. We were there, I think, for 5 nights. And it was like, oh my goodness, get me out of this hotel.
So he's in a hotel.
Yeah, he's in a hotel. We actually just got a house.
Okay.
We closed on it when I was there, thankfully, but it's empty. So even if we wanted to live there, we can't yet. So when I get back to our house in New York, I am going to get a moving company and we're going to move half of our New York house to Buffalo. Our New York house has a lot more rooms that are furnished than what we need for our Buffalo house. So we'll be able to kind of furnish both houses with what we have. So we'll be able to go back and forth still. I still want Liam to be able to finish school or go to as close to the end of school as possible. He thrives with routine and school, and I really don't want to take him out of that. And same with my middle. He's 4. He's in preschool. He goes 3 days a week. I don't want to pull him from that. He loves it also. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important to keep them in that for as long as possible. That being said, we've done it for 3 weeks and it was okay. They're definitely used to it now, but because we just spent 5 days with Sam, now they're like kind of reset into being like, I miss daddy and I want, like, when are we going there? And I was like, I know I'm sorry, but we talked to our oldest, like, well, if we go there, you have to move schools like right away. And he's like, oh, okay, never mind. I don't want to do that. I want to stay in my old school. And I was like, okay, then let's just try it. We'll see what happens. It's already April now, so I'm gonna give him like 2 more months.
Yeah.
June when they're in like first grade is like parties and spirit days and half days, and so if he misses June, that's okay. But I want to keep him in that as long as possible. He also has spring hockey and baseball, so he's going to get busier again.
Mhm.
And so I think that keeping them there is, for right now, important. So yeah, so when we get back to New York, we will kind of facilitate that move and get that new house set up. So when we do go and visit, we will be in the house instead of the hotel, which will
Okay.
be a lot better.
And then where will you guys go this summer?
So in the summer, we come to Canada.
Okay. So
Yep.
then what will you do with your houses?
Yeah. So all of our houses. Yeah. So our house in New York, we will sell once we are moved out of there. We'll sell and it should go pretty quickly. The housing market there is kind of crazy right now. And we live in a pretty good neighborhood that is in a really good school district. So people want to move there. So hopefully that will sell quickly. And then our Buffalo house will just sit there until we get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Okay.
hopefully the Sabres go far in playoffs. That will be living there until mid-June anyways. And then again, like I said, it's only 2 hours, so we can go back and forth and obviously check on it and be there if Liam needs to be there for his hockey for next season or school or whatever. So
Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh. I'm like my brain. There is so many moving
moving
parts.
parts. Yep.
Holy cow. Okay. I want to go back to talking about your kids too and how they process all of this, but I do have
Mhm.
a question about living and playing in New York. Do you guys live in the city? And
No.
okay, no. And is the rink in the city?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation. It's definitely unique. It's like a place that we've never played before. The practice rink is close to where we live. So we live about an hour north of Manhattan. We live in a town called Harrison, and the practice rink is about 15 minutes like west of where we live. It's close to where the airport where they fly in and out of. Even if you live where we live, which a lot of families do. Most families live in like Connecticut, Greenwich, which is like 20 minutes from where we live. You have to drive into the city for games, which is a whole other thing because
I
you
can
have
only
to,
imagine.
the guys leave in the morning. They will do morning skate at the practice rink and then they'll drive to the city for the day. They'll get a day room in a hotel, be there for the whole day. So basically every game is an away game, essentially. So then they'll stay in a hotel, play the game, drive home. And then there are guys who live in the city, but they have to drive into the practice rink every day. So that's like an hour drive for them. So really there's no good place to live. You can say like you can live in the middle, but that's not a good area. No matter where you live, you're driving an hour plus
Wow.
every day.
That's
Mhm.
really interesting. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah,
But yeah, like that would be really probably makes your decision sometimes to not go to the game to have to deal with like driving into the city
oh,
because I can imagine like New
absolutely.
York, especially at that time, trying to get in there and park and get, like
Yes.
that would be
Hmm.
so hectic.
Yeah, it's crazy. Last year, when I only had two kids, we would take the train in often.
Oh, that's fun
So
too.
it was nice. It was easy. It was a nice train ride. Took like 40 minutes, which you think like, oh, that's kind of long, but compared to like sometimes an hour and 20-minute drive into the city,
Hmm.
it was better. But this year, because I had three kids, it was too much to go on the train with strollers and my middle, he's only 4. He just turned 4, so like he still needs to be carried. Sometimes I can't, and it was just too much to deal with. So we started driving, which actually ended up not being that bad. They would nap in the car on the way to the game,
Okay.
my youngest and middle.
Yeah.
So it kind of gave them like a little boost for nighttime games, which was nice. And then we'd all drive home together. But the thing about that was you could only have one car at the rink. So Sam would have to either get a drive in with someone else or car service. And so it took a lot of planning if you were going to go to a game. But last year we didn't go to a lot of games just because it's a lot.
Yeah.
We wouldn't get home from games until 11:30, 12 sometimes. But this year I made a more conscious effort to go to more games and the kids were just tired the next day and it was fine. I just wanted them to experience that more and I wanted to go to more games. So I'm glad that we did that because now we aren't there.
Yeah. And I feel like, I mean, I don't know, that's probably one of like the coolest experiences or teams that you could play
100%.
for. And like, I don't know, just that experience of that
Yeah.
rink, everything, and the fans.
Yes, totally.
So when you guys wound up signing there for the first time, were you super excited? Because you were like literally polar opposite, like in Southern California, then to go to like New York City. That is so different.
Yes. Yes, yes. No, we were so excited. We didn't know about the like living situation and like the day rooms and all that until after we signed. I don't think it would have changed our decision anyways, but it has swayed other people to not
Yeah,
sign there.
that's a lot.
It is a lot, especially with this year with how crazy the NHL schedule has been with the 3-week Olympic break. They have the same amount of games with 3 less weeks to play them, and it's just been like honestly the craziest schedule we've ever experienced. I think October and November, Sam was like at home, like sleeping in bed, I think like honestly, like 6 times in 2 months. Like it was the craziest schedule because again, like even with home games, like he's not home. So I don't count those times as him being home because he's not. And a lot of times he'll have to stay in the city sometimes the night before the game, depending if it's like an afternoon game or if they've traveled, they'll just go right to the city and stay there. So this year was really crazy, but we were very excited to sign in New York, an original 6 team, MSG, like it's just like has such like lore. We were like, very excited to be a part of that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can relate to the crazy schedule, and you have
Mhm.
one more kid than I do, and it is a lot. And I feel like I struggle all the time with like finding that time for myself so that
Yes,
I'm able to show up and be patient.
totally. Absolutely.
Sometimes you can get a little resentful of the schedule of like, oh,
Yeah,
like I'm driving from here to here, and like maybe it doesn't seem like a lot, but like it can definitely catch up with you
absolutely.
after a while, where it's just it feels heavy, like you're like, okay,
Yeah,
when can I get more than like an hour to myself, you know?
absolutely. Yeah.
How do you balance that? How do you
Mhm.
try to like keep your mindset positive? And I'm assuming
Yep.
there's hard days too, but like,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, what does that look like for you?
I try and it's hard. This season has been hard, especially. I probably looking back, I probably should have got like full-time help, like hired a nanny. I felt like I didn't need it because my oldest is in school full time. My middle is in school from like 9 to 3:30 Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I just have a baby. Not that he's easy, but like
Yeah.
easier. He naps during the day, so I'm like I don't need full-time help. Looking back, it would have been nice to have those moments of I can run to the grocery store by myself. I can go to the gym without having to worry about checking the kids into the kids club, which that's been my saving grace, having a gym that has childcare.
Yeah.
My gosh. So amazing. So amazing. But also if they're sick, they can't go.
Yeah.
So it's like I'd go sometimes weeks without going because they
They're always
have
sick.
they're they're sick. And I'm not going to take them when they're sick, obviously. And
Yeah.
if we had something coming up, I didn't want to take them because I didn't want them to get sick from going there.
Hmm.
So that was tricky. But I did have a couple babysitters for nighttime things. My oldest, his hockey practices this year were at 7:30 p.m.
With
On
kids,
Wednesday.
you're like,
Yeah.
please, let's all just stay up till 10 o'clock and just
Exactly.
hello.
So once I got that schedule, I started getting a babysitter like right away. I tried getting a babysitter right away. And so those were good. She would stay home with my middle and my youngest, put them to bed while I took the oldest to hockey. But I also used them for me to go to games by myself, like going to dinners with the girls. I found that we did that a lot this year, which was good for everyone's mental health, trying to get together like on long road trips, something to look forward to and just to get out and have adult conversation and like not worry about putting the kids to bed, just like being able to just like relax. So that honestly, getting nighttime babysitters was really important for this season. And I just again like getting to the gym. We have a like a small little workout space in our basement as well. So just using nap times to do that instead of cleaning or doing like mom duties, like taking that hour to myself to help recharge for the day was I found like really important.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good because you can get kind of on that autopilot where you're like, I'm the only one here. But sometimes it's also like a little bit easier because you're like, I'm not expecting anybody to help me with this stuff.
Right.
So, it
Right.
just gets done. Yeah. 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 That's good. And also just moving your body because
It's
yeah,
huge.
yeah, it really makes a major difference. I was going to ask you, so in terms of like moving teams and
Yep.
going into new groups, obviously we talk about like community a lot and how
Yeah.
important that is to have that sense of community, but also when you're like in your 30s and you have kids and like
Mhm.
I don't know, like you're obviously like very friendly and a people person, but that can be hard to have to like,
Yeah.
okay, now I have to like, you have to reintroduce yourself and share
Yep.
parts of yourself. And it can be
Yep.
very exhausting and hard. And especially when you meet a group of people and you feel good and you're having fun and you get
Yeah.
to know each other. And then it's like, boom, you're traded and you have to do it again.
Hmm.
And like as moms, I think we have like such a small, not such a small, but like a smaller threshold and capacity to like have the energy to
Yeah.
exert into that.
Yep.
So how is that for you? Just having to find the, community moving so frequently in the
Yeah.
last several years with littles.
Yeah. Before kids, it was a lot easier. You could like, hey, want to grab a drink before the game? Hey, want to go to this workout class together? It was a lot easier to like make those connections.
Yeah.
When you had all the time in the world, you didn't have to worry about finding a sitter or all that. Now, being a mom and having less time, I find it a little bit more challenging. It's more on me to like make the time to do those things and like set up a sitter so I can go to the game by myself and not be running after the kids so I can actually have conversations with people and like make connections. Now that my kids are a little bit older, it is getting easier, especially when there's a lot of kids on teams or like the sit in the family room and the kids are playing and you can have an actual conversation with their mom or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely tricky going into a new team. Everyone is always super friendly, always super welcoming. I have personally have never felt like excluded or anything from any team that we've been on. Luckily, we've been such part of such a great group, girls, guys, like everyone is always super welcoming. But it is hard because we're coming in, it's April and we're new and they've already had their connections and there's groups of girls already that have their groups and obviously that's like more than fine. So it is a little bit tricky to come in late. And you don't want to disturb anything either, especially like teams that are hopefully going on long runs and playoffs. You don't want to like come in and mess anything up. So it's tricky in that sense, but I don't know. Having 3 kids now, I just like kind of go in with like, this is me, this is who I am. If you like me, great. If not, that's also cool. You're not always going to love everyone. Not everyone's going to be best friends. So you kind of just, you find your people and that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, that's true. Your mindset does change where I think you put less energy into like, I don't know, just worried about it and like worried about
Yes.
making things work. And you're like, if I naturally hit it off with someone or whatever, then that's different. But I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes, totally.
you want those connections, but you're not going to force anything at this point.
Exactly. This hockey world isn't forever. I still love making like best friends in this life because some of my best friends are what we've met through hockey. But I'm not going to put so much emphasis and stress on myself to like make these
Yeah.
super connections with people. If it's not happening, then it's not happening. But like I said, like I've never really had that. I've made really great friends in every team that we've been with. Lots that I still keep in touch with from like years and years ago.
Yeah.
But again, like with kids now, it's just I do have less energy to put into that, and that's okay.
Yeah. And plus, you're like in that awkward stage right now where you're like going back and forth and you're not there, which I think is
Yeah,
another element of like maybe you're not going to be super involved this year, but next
yeah.
year when you're
Next year.
there,
Yep.
then you can like make those relationships and it'll be like,
Yes.
the people that are probably going to be there for more of the duration of
Yes.
the year. So,
Yeah, exactly. And it is hard not being like there right now, especially with playoffs about to be starting and it's such a fun time. Like we've only experienced playoffs one other time. That was when we got traded to Edmonton. So it's literally the exact same situation, except we ended up moving there about the same time as right now, 3 weeks until we got a house, but whatever. We ended up moving there and then I could actually like hang out with the girls and do all the playoff stuff, which was like so amazing.
yeah.
So I do feel like a little bit of like FOMO, like not being there fully yet, but I know it will come and that's just kind of life right now.
Yeah. And when you guys were in Edmonton, was that the year that they went to the finals?
Yes, it was the first year. So they went to the finals 2 years in a row. It was the first year they went to the
Okay.
finals.
Well, that's exciting.
It was it was insane. We
You're like,
and because
get ready to
we
go to the finals, it's fine.
yes, it was amazing because obviously like I said we've never even been a part of playoffs before
Yeah.
in the NHL. We did AHL playoffs, but it was so crazy. It was so fun. And Edmonton is such a hockey town. Like there's literally all they care about is hockey. So it was incredible. Like especially going from Anaheim, which like half the people didn't even know that they had a hockey team or what hockey was.
Yeah.
To going to Edmonton where they live for hockey. It was so cool. It was like such a cool experience to be part of that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow. Okay, you guys have been all over. You've been all over
Yes.
the map. Who knows what's in store for the
Oh
future?
my goodness. If we get traded again, I
Yeah,
and I I already said this to Sam. I said that at the beginning of the year. I said, if we could trade it again, I'm tapping out. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
We'll just go home. And then we get traded. I'm like, well, now I'm eating my words because we're not doing that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, okay. I'm just all talk here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have older kids in this lifestyle.
Yeah.
I think I've said this before, but it's like when they're young, I feel like, let's say 3 and under, they're kind of just
Hmm.
like rolling with the punches. This
Hmm.
is all they know. Like I could move tomorrow and my daughter would be like, cool. Like,
Yep.
their brain
They don't
development.
really know yet.
Yeah, they don't really know. And then it's like, Deacon, no. And then it's like once they turn 4-ish, I feel like that's when I noticed a change where he was like, what's going on? I don't want to be here. What is this house? Where are my friends? Like,
Yes.
what's going on? So how has that well, specifically with your oldest, because he's the
Yep.
oldest, like how has
Yep.
that affected him throughout all of this
Moves.
movement? Because it's a lot. It's
Yeah.
a lot of movement.
It is. It's a lot. I think he has lived in like over 10 houses since he's been born. And he's just turning 7 tomorrow. Like, it's crazy how much movement he has had just being him. But I really noticed when we got traded to Edmonton, we got there. It was like a couple days before his birthday. We didn't know anybody on the team at that point. Sam had like literally just left for like a 2-week road trip. I was like, why did we move now? Why didn't we wait? Anyways, he was like, it was his 5th birthday. I like decorated the house, tried to make it so special for him. He's like, hey, when are all my friends coming over? And I was like, sorry, buddy, like we don't have any friends here yet. Like, we're just gonna have a party, just like the 3 of us. And he's like, okay, like whatever. And then when Sam got back from the road trip, he was like, the kids had been difficult. We went from being able to go outside every single day, walks to the park, playing with friends, going to school, to like being kind of stuck in this really small house because it was still winter there. Yeah, they could go outside and play, but we didn't have a yard, really. They could go outside for like 15 minutes and they were freezing cold because they weren't used to winter. So they're like,
Like,
what is this?
behind.
Yeah. So it was a really tricky transition. And I remember Sam coming home from the road trip and being like, what happened to the kids? And I was like, honestly, like this move has been really hard on them.
And you're also like, I don't know, Sam, but I'm off the clock. So
Literally, I'm leaving. The move to Edmonton was hard on all of us. It took me a really long time to find my places to go. We lived in a really cute neighborhood though. Like we could walk down the street to like a really cute little cafe. We like lived there. Like that was like our everyday thing. Okay, let's walk to the cafe. Let's go get a hot chocolate and a cookie. Let's get out of the house, do something. And I also didn't know how long we were going to be living there for. So I didn't immediately sign up for school or activities because I didn't want to sign up and then be leaving. So it probably wasn't until May that I signed them up for school. No, probably April. Or at end of April, beginning of May, where I was like, hey, you guys need some routine, and so do I, because we are not going to survive this if we don't. So I signed them up for like a daycare preschool type situation, and I signed Liam up for soccer and Jack for swimming lessons. Like I got things moving again because I was like, we can't be living this life of, well, we might be leaving next week. Oh, we might be leaving next week. Just pretend that you're not and just get into things because it was really affecting me and the kids. And we had some help at the beginning. My mom came, and so that was really good. But then once the help kind of left, I was like, okay, they need to be in something. I need help. I need to get out of the house by myself.
Yeah.
So I joined a gym that actually they had childcare too, but I ended up not needing it because I put the kids in full-time school just for like the month and a half left that we were there for. And it was like the best thing. They were happier. I was happier.
Yeah.
It was just a lot better. This trade is definitely a lot different just because Liam is now 7. He, like I said before, he is in 1st grade. He has hockey. He's already made these connections, deep connections with his hockey team. They've been together for the past 2 seasons now. And even me with the parents, like it's just such a great group. We're so sad to leave them. He has really best friends that were on the Rangers as well. I had best friends there. So this move is going to be tricky.
And socially too, I've read that like obviously I have a 5-year-old, but from like 6 to 10 is when like things change for kids socially, where they start to like it's different. It's not like they're just like wanting to hop around. It's like, wait, like what do you mean? Like it's not so simple to just move them.
Yes, no, totally. And I've noticed that he is a lot more aware of what's going on. He's a lot more aware of his friendships. Before he was like, yeah, like, yeah, as friends, but like he was so used to moving that he kind of like didn't really notice. But that is one thing that I will say is silver lining of all this is he is so resilient and so good at making friends. Like because he's been in like 4 different schools. So like he's just really good at making new friends now because he's been like the new kid a lot, which is really like amazing for him. He can go into a situation and like and be comfortable introducing himself and like just like making connections pretty quickly with other people. And same with my middle one. He is a wild child, wild spirit. He can like go into anything and just be like, "Hey, like let's play." Liam is a lot more reserved and a lot more shy, but it's really this whole situation has really taken him out of his shell and like forced him to be more open and like out there to make friends, which has been really nice to see.
Yeah. And it's like those things that you stress about as a mom, being like, I hate taking him away from his friends and moving schools and doing all these things, is actually
Yeah,
like a life skill that he's
totally.
learning, and that you're gonna, even now you're realizing, and probably you're gonna see like benefits of that in the future of like,
Yeah.
oh, they're so adaptable, they're so go with the flow because they haven't had any other option than to
Right.
do so.
Yep, totally.
Yeah. So when Sam is gone, does he have a hard time with that now that he like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he
That's
does.
the mom to see that, because you're like, I don't know what to
It's
say to make you feel. There's nothing you can really, you can comfort them,
no.
but like their feelings are their feelings, you know?
It's definitely this year's definitely been the hardest, I would say. And it's hard too because he wants Sam to be at his hockey practices, at his games, and like he can't. Like he goes when he can, obviously, but that's few and far between. So that's been hard. And he just always just like, I miss daddy. I'm like, yeah, me too. I wish he was home too. Like, but now like they FaceTime all the time, and now that Liam can read and like somewhat spell, they like can text each other. Like Liam can text him on his iPad. So that's been really helpful. They can like talk more often. So that's been a nice way to connect. I don't love that he's like on his iPad, but it's just for like communication purposes. So we'll take it.
Also, like, how does he do that? From
Oh my goodness. He has his own like Apple ID, so he can just like iMessage through like he can send like text messages through his iMessage through his like iCloud email
oh,
on his iPad.
I'm like, I wonder if I could, because my kids have tablets. I'm like, that's actually really cute, because I feel like my son would he's always like, can I see your phone? I want to send a message.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I don't know, because you've gotten a hold of my phone and you've sent out some texts before that I'm.
Well, yes, that's what he did. He like had my Liam had my old iPad and it was obviously like connected to my like email. It wasn't my phone number, but it was my email. He was like texting people
Yeah.
and there people were messaging me on my phone being like, "Did you get an email? Like who was messaging me from?" I'm like, "Oh my God, that's Liam." Sorry.
You're like, I don't know what this gibberish is. That's definitely.
No, literally.
Oh my gosh. They get it, but also like developmentally, like do they understand, like kids don't have the context of like money and jobs, I feel like. And so you're
Mm-mm,
like,
not yet.
he wants to be here, and like they don't
Yes,
get that like a job is how you're making a living to provide for your family. So it's like
absolutely. Yeah.
this cycle where you're like, trust me, like he would be here.
Yeah,
It's not that he doesn't want to be at your practice. And
exactly.
yeah, that can be
Yeah.
heavy.
Yeah. And even my middle one, he just turned 4. He is starting to kind of understand that too. He's always like, "Well, like I just like want daddy to retire so he can play with us all the time." And I was like, "Well, once he retires, he has to get a different job, but sure, he won't be going on road trips and stuff." So he kind of
Yeah,
has that like stuck in his mind, but
yeah,
I also want them to like embrace this lifestyle because it's like they don't know how cool it is.
yeah, totally.
Obviously it takes it like it's hard because this job takes their dad away from them for long periods of time. He can't be there for everything, but also the experiences they've got to experience because of this
Right.
is incredible.
Right. Yeah. My God. Oh my gosh. Sorry. My dog keeps growling and I'm gonna like go off. I'm like ADD, so I'm like distract. It's like, what's your favorite place you've played?
I knew you were going to ask this question and I was like, I honestly I can't answer it. I love every place because everywhere's been so different and it's given us so many different things. Anaheim was like our first NHL experience for real. and it gave me like some of my best friends we met there. Gave like we gave I had 2 kids there.
Special to you in that way.
Very special to us in that way, and we were there for so long. New York is like so special because it's our first time having a community outside of the team.
Yeah.
So it felt like home there. And also like MSG playing at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Like iconic, like so cool to be there. Being able to go into the city for dinner, for shows, like I'm mad at myself for the first season not taking advantage of that. I was pregnant, so like I didn't really want to. We barely went into the city at all, other than just for games. But this season, I like made it a point to like we went to the city for dinners. Like I went to a Broadway show a couple weeks ago. Like just like made it a point to go into the city more. It's because like we're not going to go back there probably. Like if we're going to go on vacation, we're going to go somewhere like tropical for the small time being. Like yeah, maybe we'll go back like in like a couple years or whatever, but it's not somewhere that's like top of my list to go visit. So I'm glad that I took that upon myself this year to do that, get out more. And obviously Edmonton was so great too. We were only there for a short amount of time. And it was just like such a cool experience getting to go like Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Sam wasn't even playing, and it was still incredible. Like, what an experience. So each place kind of has their own special place in my heart, but I can't really say, like, favorite spot.
Do you have a dream place that you would want to go to that you haven't been to yet? If,
like,
let's say we're hoping for stability. But
yes.
If we could choose anywhere on the map, any NHL team from what
oh my goodness,
what you would wish for, like where would you go?
Honestly, I don't really know. I don't think I have a dream place.
Yeah.
Honestly, like people are gonna laugh at this. Like Buffalo is not like a dream place for like really any player to go to. Well, now it is because they're doing like so unbelievable and it's so fun. But for years, like they weren't doing great.
Yeah.
But because it's so close to home, but still in the U.S. where I can like go to Target and like get the US experience. That's like such a great spot for us to be because we were there for like 5 days just visiting and exploring and stuff. And it felt very Canadian with American stores, which was like best of both worlds for me.
Yeah. That honestly is so nice that you are 2 hours away from your family.
Yes.
It's like you can, you just like have that flexibility, or like if let's say he's on a long road trip and you're like at your wit's end, like you can just go home, go home and have that help and distract you from, just especially in the winter when it's cold, because Buffalo obviously gets a ton of snow and it's really cold there. So it's like, just having to navigate all these different things is a lot. So I'm happy for you because that's just like,
And because we played in Anaheim for so long, it was like literally the furthest place we could be from where we lived at home. It was like a 5.5 hour flight, 3 hour time change. It was really hard to have those connections back at home still. And like for someone to come visit you is like such like a huge ordeal. Where now they can hop in the car and drive 2 hours and be there. So it's nice. It's so nice to be that close to home. And like Sam's parents have gone to almost every home game he's had. Like it's just nice for everyone. Especially because sorry. Go ahead. I was gonna say because we were gone for so long. And even New York, like it was close, but still not drivable. Which it's only an hour flight. Crossing the border, so you have to get to the airport like 3 hours before, do the hour flight, and then like the airport where you fly into is 45 minutes away. So it's just like it still was a big ordeal to come and visit us, but now it's like so much easier.
That's amazing. That is amazing. And you can get help too.
Yes.
Way more. And visitors, and it just makes it fun. Because I think so many of us too, just like in this lifestyle, you want your friends to come visit. And I remember like being in Europe and like wanting people to come out there, but it's obviously it's just kind of hard and they don't really get to experience that. So that's so cool because now like maybe some of your friends can come out and like
absolutely
all game and like all of that. So that's cool.
Yes. Yeah, no, it'll be good. I'm looking forward to having that close experience.
Yeah. And also I can relate to what you were saying about the nostalgia of like wishing you did more in a place. And I think that's just like a good note to people too, to take advantage of it. Cause like I was even thinking, that made me think of when we lived in Vienna in Austria. And I'm like, why was I not like going into that city every single day and like bopping around? I was just like at home with my toddler, like stressed out. And I'm like, what was I doing? Like now I regret not taking more full advantage of that. So but hopefully now like you have that mindset shift, and then there's going to be cool
Mhm.
places that you learn about the next place you're, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So
Yes, absolutely.
I have so many notes. Usually I do not even have notes, but I was like, there was just like so much stuff I wanted to ask you about. I'm like, we have like 4 years to catch up on here.
No, literally. I know. It's been a lot.
If hockey ended tomorrow, what part of this life would you miss the most?
The girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've had such good, like I said before, like such good experiences and such good groups of girls that's something that I would miss a lot. Like the connections, and it's hard because I have the best girlfriends at home too. We have a good group of us here who've been best friends since high school, even like before high school, elementary school, preschool. But to have friends in the lifestyle who understand what you're going through,
Mhm.
like, and they firsthand go through it too. So different to have that like connection. So I would
Yeah.
miss that. And honestly, going to games. I love going to games. I think that's so fun. With kids or preferably without, but taking the kids to the games, like going down for warm-ups, like seeing them see their dad do what like he loves is like, honestly,
Sweet.
it never gets old.
Yeah.
It never gets old seeing them like bang on the glass, like have that connection with Sam, like during warm-ups, like being so excited to be there. Honestly, doing it is like doing it for the first time every time. It's just so exciting. It's so fun. And so that is another big part of what I would miss, would be taking them to games.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's so fun. Like when they can recognize their dad down there, but then when they understand like what they're doing and how cool it is. I don't know, even like my son just being home here in Idaho, but like our neighbors, we were talking about going to the game, and he's like, oh, is like Mike, our neighbor, gonna be playing tonight? And I'm like, honey, not everybody does that. Like he thought like every dad,
everyone's dad. Yep.
And I'm like, no. So then now he thinks it's so cool. And like on Saturday night, their school, I coordinate it. So like their school is having like a school night at the game.
Oh, so cool.
All of his teachers, all of his classmates and everything are going, and I'm like, they're going to watch like your dad and his team, and like it's just so fun to think about, you know, how they start to think it's cool, which I think is so sweet, and just like have a bond, which I can imagine like obviously in the NHL too, that's like even amplified with like just the fan base and the, you know, community and the all of that stuff. And so fun.
I think this year or last season, and a little bit last season, but more this season, really, my oldest really started to really understand, because before we would like walk out from the game and walk to the car and there'd be like fans, whatever, waiting. And Liam would always be like, what are they like? What are they waiting for? Like, why are they like cheering? And we'd like kind of explain like, oh, they're waiting, like they want daddy's autograph. And he's like, why? I was like, well, so trying to explain to them like that like is a little bit tricky, but now he like really understands it. And he thinks it's like the coolest thing ever, which I love, because I'm like, this is not going to last forever.
Yeah.
One more season, maybe two. Like, take it in. Like your dad has a really cool job.
Like we start collecting these autographs at home, and then like in a few years, like get them up on eBay, and you can make a lot.
Yep, exactly. It's so cute. He like, obviously now he wants to be like an NHL player. That's like when you ask him what he wants to be when he grows up, he says a hockey player. And like he's been practicing his own signature. It's so cute.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So it's just like so fun to see them be like experience it.
Yeah. What has been the most challenging part of this lifestyle for you?
Moving. I've got it down to like a science now, like how to pack and how to move, but it's always hard. Mm-hmm. It's always hard to pack up all your stuff, move, unpack, that part, but also like the logistics of being in new spaces, being in new towns, and like another whole level of that when you have kids, getting them new doctors, new dentists, signing them up for school. Like this morning I was doing registration for school for Liam next year, for Jack next year, getting his hockey papers signed, like just like all the things that you have to find new things of. Even for myself, finding the new grocery stores, new places to get my hair done, everything. Like it's like moving to a like new city every time. It's like, here we go. Let's start again. Let's do that. So that's definitely the hardest part, is moving. After getting traded to Edmonton and going through we might be gone next week. I've just sort of dropped that mindset and just been like, this is where we are. We're putting down roots, whether we're here for 6 months, 2 years, like we have to live as if we're here forever, because if not, it seems too fleeting. And you don't like make the connections. You don't try as hard. So now we're gonna jump into it as if we're there forever.
Yeah.
Because I can't live the
Limbo.
wishy-washy life
No.
anymore, especially with the kids. It makes them feel uneasy and not grounded. So I think it's important to just kind of jump in, like both feet in. This is where we're living now, and
Yeah.
this is it.
Yeah. Because like as a mom
Yeah.
too, you're kind of like that foundation for the family because everything around you
Yes.
guys is not stable. So you have to try to stay as neutral as possible when there's chaos going on. So
Yeah.
that's good to just lean into it and not
Mm-hmm.
stress about it as much. Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you really don't have any control
It
over
is what it is.
what happen. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Okay. You know what's coming next. If you could give advice to anybody in this lifestyle that might be
Mm-hmm.
going through this, the trades, the uncertainty, that just wishy-washy-ness of this life, what would it be?
I think I have two things. The first one, I've kind of already touched on it, but it's like embrace where you are and don't like stay home. Get out there, get your routines going like as soon as possible. I think that helps to really settle in quicker. Find your spots as quickly as you can, get into routine, kind of just like jump right in, kind of like fake it till you make it sort of thing.
Mhm.
Act like you've been there your whole life. Like just kind of get into it. Don't dwell on like, well, I don't know like where to go or what to do. Just go out and just like try and like find your spots. Get recommendations from people. That's also like another thing. Like everyone, like not just like girls from the team, but like anyone you can talk to. Just like what's your favorite restaurant to go to? Just like try and build a whole like life there, basically. And also just like stay true to yourself. So hard in this life to not get caught up in what everyone else is doing and to like stay grounded and stay true to you, because at the end of the day, this isn't forever, but like you are forever. So if you lose yourself and then it's gone, then you're kind of like, well, now what? Now I don't have any identity other than maybe what you thought was your identity. So I think just like finding your roots, staying like true to yourself is like a really important thing. And that, in whether that's in your family, with your kids, if you don't have kids, with your partner, just like staying grounded, staying true to you, and trying not to get caught up in all the hoopla of the life.
I love that. Thank you. Those are always my favorite questions to ask because I just feel like everybody's answer is so different.
Yeah.
It's so good. And it just, I don't know, it just gives me a perspective that I don't always have naturally. So I love that. That's really good. And you've been through a lot and your kids are resilient and you're probably more resilient than you
100%.
credit for. And you've
Yeah.
also learned how to meet new people and meet new friends and put yourself out there. And, you know, maybe you wouldn't be as much like that if you hadn't gone
Totally
through this stuff that you've had to go.
Absolutely. Because I really wasn't that type of person before this. I was more reserved. I kind of stuck with my friend group. I didn't really branch out that much. But obviously this life like forces you to, because if you don't, you're just going to be alone, and that's not fun. So I'm thankful for this life for allowing me to grow as a person in that sense, being more outgoing and putting myself out there more freely. And also like, then this is funny because my son says this because his teacher says it to them all the time, but like, you can do hard things. And like that's like my motto for like my like internal like monologue all the time is like, I can do hard things. Like I can survive these trades. I can survive these long road trips by myself. Like I can do it, because if I don't, then it's not going to get done. I'm kind of like the only person who can do it. So that's just kind of like another like motto, especially for girls with families and you're going through this. Like you can do hard things. You can do it, and like you will do it, and you will figure it out. It always works out. It's just getting there is a little tricky.
And it's like you can take the time to process that and go through it's not to say like, I'm sure, like you said, this was not easy for you.
No.
To process it, and you maybe have gone through different emotions like being upset,
Absolutely.
sad, maybe not sure what's gonna but then it's like once you get through that, it's like, okay, like let's tackle it, let's get this done, and then we'll start the next process of like getting settled and getting in there. So yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was so fun to finally chat with you. If people
I know, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was so fun chatting with you.
was so nice to finally get the chance to come on and chat with you and finally meet you in real life, but you know,
Yeah.
not through Instagram.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna stop this recording and also